Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home, Welcome to Mountaineer Football Tonight, the weekly coaches show for Kings Mountain High School, brought to you by KMHS Sports and the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club.
Good evening and welcome to Mountaineer Football Tonight. I'll be your host for the evening, Brad Melton. I'm filling in for Craig Short, who is otherwise engaged this evening. He will be back with you next week, so this is just a temporary thing. I'm here with Coach Straight Heron, obviously head coach here at the high school. Got a big week coming up. We're going to cover a lot of topics tonight. 2 big scrimmages last week.
Yep.
Saw a lot of things from the team last week. Now, obviously, they were scrimmages. But then we've got the home opener this week, and it's none other than the Shelby Golden Lions themselves. So we're going to talk about the games this past week, go over Coach what he saw, what he likes. There may be one or two things he thinks he might need to correct. As a general rule, coaches tend to find those negatives more than the positives. And then we're going to look ahead to not only the Shelby game, maybe what we look at for the season. So thank you for joining us. We're going to take a quick minute to recognize our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back, and we are here once again with Coach Heron. Coach Heron, just a couple things. First of all, welcome. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I know there's not much going on prepping for the week or anything, so I know you got lots of free time, but we really do enjoy you being here.
Appreciate you.
So if you will, just kind of talk us through some of the changes that are going on with the field. Obviously, the first thing I noticed when I came watching practice a couple of weeks was we've got a new entrance for the players to come in. So just if you want to take a minute and kind of tell us about some of the new changes going on.
Sure. Well, we decided that we needed to do things a little bit different, and talking with the AD, with Matt Bridges, I knew that they were changing the way that they do parking, and I thought it would be pretty neat to be able to come down the hill on the other end of the stadium if that was possible. And I just kind of threw that out as an idea, and we've got such a great support in this town. Jason Butler, he came out with David Brinkley, and they looked at it, and next thing I know, the hill is turfed, and we're ready to go. So this year, instead of getting on the bus and riding around the stadium, we're going to start in the field house. The field house is such a great facility. We want to use it, and so we'll have our meetings there, pre-game meetings, and we'll walk out of the field house and we'll come across the parking lot and enter the stadium right at the ticket gate. And we're calling it the Mountie Walk, and they're going to walk past the concession stand and go out the back gate of the stadium. And the mountain man is going to be up on top of the hill above the run trail, and we're going to get up there and get excited and come down the hill and head to the sideline. So that's a new change. It'll be a little bit different. I'm hoping that a lot of the young kids will get to see our kids walking through the concession stand area, and that'll excite our players and any other fans that want to be there. I think it'll be a neat change.
I think so too. I know there's been a lot of excitement here. People call me, hey, have you seen the new deal? You've seen what are they doing with that? What's going on? So glad to hear kind of the story behind that. Well, let's talk a little about the Jamboree last week. You started off with the Cleveland County Jamboree, AC Reynolds. I don't know why you picked two cupcake teams to play like that. I don't know why you couldn't get some real competition.
Right.
Obviously, that's sarcasm. Look at AC Reynolds. Last year, they were 12-2 in 4A, went to the fourth round of the playoffs. So you kind of grabbed the tiger by the tail in that first game on that one.
Yeah, and I've always been that way. I try to explain to our players all the time, we want to play the best competition we can find, and especially before we get to conference play. And so you can play cupcake teams, and when it's all said and done, you watch the video and you don't learn anything. When you play a team that's really, really good and you study as much video as we do, once you play good teams, you can look at what teams are trying to do to you, and if they're a good team, they're probably doing something that's pretty well. You can learn from them, but you can also learn what can help your own team. So we want to play tough teams. We want to have a challenge whenever we can, and especially in the preseason. But of course, when you also, and it doesn't matter who you're playing, you don't want to get anybody hurt. And that's the great thing about the Jamborees. We came out of both of them with no injuries, and so we're feeling pretty good about where we are.
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that, because a healthy team certainly goes along. What was your overall impression with the first game against Reynolds? How did you feel your team performed? What are things that you saw that you liked, didn't like?
Well, I like the fact of how hard we played. Our guys played extremely hard, and that's half the battle. I explained to our players that ever since I was a kid, even when I was young, I don't like to get embarrassed, and it's just something that bothers me. I don't know what it is, but and a lot of times when you tell players that, they think, oh, well, you get beat 6-2-0, that's embarrassing. So we don't want that to happen. Well, that's not what embarrasses me. What embarrasses me is to have a team out there on the field that doesn't play hard, that they don't play together, that they make mistakes and they do things that show little character. Those are things that I look at and I expect our players not to do, or to do, and they did that. They played hard. They played with character, and we made some mistakes, but that's part of practicing. So that's all you can do is just keep working on those. And so I was disappointed. We had the ball on the 10-yard line and fumbled. That wasn't good. We didn't do a very good job on the kickoff team, giving up too much ground. And of course, unless Max kicked it in the end zone, that's something that was very, very positive. So there was a lot of good things, and there were some things that we need to work on, get better. And defense, we gave up a big play. That's one of the things that we just don't want to have happen. We want our defense to. We don't. The old saying, "Bend but don't break." Defense is that's good and all. We don't want to bend or break. So big plays are something we've got to keep out of the repertoire of what's happening in a game.
Well, listen, I will throw one thing out there. You're talking about the personality of the kids and the hard work.
Right.
And, they always say that a team takes on the personality of the coach.
Yes.
And I've watched a few practices, and I've heard people in the community talk about how well your practices are run and how hard those guys are working. And I see those guys walking the halls, and I can tell you, I'm starting to see the personality.
Yeah.
And I don't think effort or work is going to be an issue this year.
Yeah, and I'll say that I appreciate Coach Bridges. We had the touchdown club meeting the other night, and he made a great comment when he told them. He said, I'm not saying we're going to win them all. He said, but I'll tell you this: if we don't win them, if there's a game that we don't win, it's not going to be because of effort. And I agree with him. These guys have worked extremely hard, and that's what I tell them. We're not going to be outworked. If there's anything that's going to happen, we're not going to be outworked. And these guys this summer. They put in the time. I mean, it was lifting, conditioning, and practice 5 days a week. So they've done it.
And you can take it. Like I said, you can look at the work. Well, after the AC Reynolds game, like I said, you went down to South Carolina, down to Gaffney, and once again found you another cupcake. Found you somebody took a whoop up on. Once again, obviously, Catawba Ridge, 4A school, South Carolina, 11-2 last year, third round playoffs. They are and let me tell you, when those guys walked on the field, if you did not see it, they passed the eye test.
Yeah, they definitely do.
They were impressive looking.
Yep.
But just before you start, I will say, I thought our offensive line and defensive line played extremely well. I thought, now, your guys aren't small. So it's not, it's not like that.
Right.
But I thought, as a whole, the trenches were really good. So I'll let you go ahead and talk.
Well, and Coach Lindak does a great job at Catawba Ridge. They're a team that is right there where I used to coach at, and he does a great job. And they have some really good players, and you can tell that he developed some to be hard-nosed, really solid players. And so, our guys, I was just like you, and we said it when we got back to the office and started looking at it on video. Our guys up front did a really tremendous job, and we've got to make that continue to happen. And offensive line is the hardest position to play on a football field, bar none. And they have really done. Coach Cruz has done a great job with those guys, and as the season goes on, I think they're just going to get better and better. So again, it's guys just playing hard and being smart, and they did a great job. Our defensive line. Man, I would hate to block them. And I tell our offensive line at practice all the time, I say, hey, man, these are the guys that you need to practice against. Man, if you can block our guys, you can block anybody. So the defensive line, they did a great job getting off the ball. But we still making a few mistakes, things that a lot of people might not notice. We got to close down and take care of our gaps and stuff like that. But they're getting better at it. So it's just a learning thing. There's a new defense, new offense, but they're picking it up, and there's starting to become this camaraderie of everybody starting to figure out what is supposed to be happening and then wanting to make that happen. So I just think it's going to get better and better.
And I will say this, just as a common fan watching the two games, the secondary in that second game looked, I thought they were outstanding.
Right.
When you're out there in that corner,
you're
on that island, it's just the two of you. You're exposed, but I'm telling you what, I really thought the secondary played a solid game.
Yeah,
I really did.
We run a pretty complex defense, and the secondary they have a lot to think about, and they've done a good job through the spring and summer. That's when we started this whole thing, and the more we do it, the more comfortable they're going to feel, and the even better they'll be at being in the right place when they need to be there. We've got some athletes back there, and speed, man. Speed, we always use the phrase "speed kills," and we've got speed, and we got to make sure that they're going in the right places, being in the right spots, and not breaking down in coverage. And they'll do really well.
Like I said, I've just watching them. I've been so impressed with the defense as a whole. And I know you're a defensive guy. So,
yes.
And then you brought in a guy who knows.
He knows a little bit.
Just a little bit about it. So I'm sure that might have something to do with it too.
Yeah.
So listen, when we come back, we're going to take a quick break, talk about our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to talk about the upcoming game. The game with Shelby this week, maybe a little bit more about where we see the team going throughout the season. So we'll be right back.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home,
and welcome back here to the Mountaineer Football Tonight. Back here with Coach Straight Heron. Coach, season opener this week, got Shelby. For 100 years, it seems like, Shelby has been the rival for Kings Mountain. Last few years, them going to 2A. That's kind of, we get them early now.
Right.
It does a long time, for many years, they were always the bitter conference rival, the county rival, the Battle of Buffalo Creek.
Right.
I saw where this is our 102nd meeting. Not many schools can say that they played 100 games
That's a long
against
time.
one team. This is one of those games where the kids know each other. They've gone to school together. A lot of times you have family playing on the different teams.
Right.
But I also know that for you, it's starting a whole new era here.
Right.
How do you see yourself? First of all, what do you feel about the game coming up this week?
Yeah, we've got to see them a couple times live, just like they've got to see us, and then of course we've got some video, and they're a very formidable opponent. They've got speed that's a lot like ours, and their defense gets all over the field, and all that makes it hard. It makes it hard. They've got a sophomore quarterback who can throw the ball pretty well, throws the deep ball well, and so we've got a challenge on our hands, and of course everybody knows rival games is no telling what can happen. We just have to stay within ourselves, play the game the way we've been taught to play, the way we've been trained to play, and then but we got it's like I tell them all the time. I play it all the time, man. The team that's most physical and the team that plays with the most heart, they're usually the ones that win. So that's what we've got to do.
I know you've watched countless hours.
Yeah.
On the
Well, yes, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. I wish I had countless hours, but you get two scrimmages. We haven't got to see as much as we'd like, but yes, we've watched it a lot.
Let me rephrase it. I'm sure you've broken down every play
Yes,
multiple
yes,
times.
there you go.
So, looking at it that way, how do you see the strength of your team against the strength of the Shelby team this year? And what are the weaknesses? How do you see the matchup?
Well, our defense is got to come. They got to come hard every play and make it hard for them, not only to throw the ball, but also the help with the run game. Because I've heard from coaches that we have on staff and in the past, coach, they're going to throw the ball as many times as they can, but when you watch them at the jamborees, I mean, they're running the ball, and they run the ball pretty good. They've got a running back that can go. So our front guys on defense are going to have to play really solid. They're going to have to be able to give pressure, but at the same time stay in their lanes and stop the run. Offensively, we just got to figure out a way to get first downs, and I told our players that we've got to do a great job offensively of protecting the football and get first downs, and that's been a struggle a little bit so far. So we need to really work on that. We got to run the ball well. We got to be able to make throws that are open, and just be able to control that part of the game. And then the other part that a lot of people don't think about is special teams. And we've got to play well in the special teams. I think that could be an advantage for us if we do what we're supposed to do. And so it's going to be a three-phase game, and we've got to be on top of all of them.
Well, I can tell you, as a lifelong Mountaineer, I don't think people around here get too much more excited than home opener, first of all,
right.
And then you throw Shelby in on top of that.
Right.
And I think there might be a pretty good crowd here for you Friday. We're hoping to get a little bit of a participation.
Right.
They could come and support you in your home opener.
The only thing I've heard is you better get here early.
You heard that, fans, coming straight from Coach himself. If you're coming Friday night, you better get here early, because if you show up at 7:30, you might be left out in the cold.
Watching from the hill.
And I know you know this. We talked about the 102 meetings, and I'm sure you've been told several times. Now, you do know that Kings Mountain's won 4 of the last 5 games here.
Yeah.
No pressure there.
No pressure.
No pressure. But that's kind of bragging rights. They like to tell you that they own the overall lead, and I will have to say it is by a decent margin, but recent history.
Right.
Okay. We only look at the recent. We don't worry about what happened in 1940s.
That's right.
Recent history. We have won 4 of the last 5, I think nobody would be any happier if we made it 5 out of 6.
Yes.
To keep this thing going.
Well, and you know, I want it for our kids. You know, they like I said, they have worked extremely hard. I think it's been a little bit of a shock to them at how much different that we do it than in the past. And nothing wrong with the way they did it in the past, but it's just a different style of the way that we do things, and they've worked hard. So you know, I just want it for the players. I'm pulling for them. So you know, I know I've got their back.
I'm sure you do. Just want to sort of follow the trend we had said earlier as far as playing cupcakes early on. You know, Shelby by no means is they're 2A, but they are one of, if not the top 2A school year in and year out.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, you know, having the KM on my shirt, it makes me hard to say that, but Coach Will Banks and his staff does a great job over there. And anytime you line up against them, they're going to be prepared. They're going to play, and they've always got athletes.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
But I think we've got athletes too.
We do. So you know, that's and it makes it fun. That's what makes the game fun. Honestly, it's not fun when you go out and play teams that you can just beat to death. You know, there's a chess match that goes with it, and then of course that's the whole part of the culture of your team and how much each one of them has each other's back, and then the heart and desire to win and play hard the whole game. So there's a lot to it, and being physical has got to be part of it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to be. My wife is not. My wife, she has not decided whether she's coming yet, and if she does come, I think she's going to stay in the field house. She said she wouldn't come out until she knew that everything was okay. And I told her, I said, hey, if things don't go well and I get up there and my truck's got 4 slashed tires, hey, it is what it is. I'll go buy a motorcycle or something, but we'll be all right. So.
Well, let me tell you, my wife has been talking about this game for 6 months, so I can tell you right now.
So, no pressure.
She's
no pressure.
Going to be sitting right there beside me this week and cheering you on just as loud as anybody out there.
Good.
Fans, once again, listen, make sure. Now, what time is the walk going to be from the field house to the?
That is approximately 7:15.
Get there for that, folks. You're going to want to line up, especially bring your young ones out there. Line them up. Let them see these guys all dressed up. These are their, you know, I know for the elementary school kids, these are heroes.
Yeah,
these are the closest things to the superstars that they're going to see, and they're going to go to school Monday and tell the friends and all who they see. I saw.
Right.
This week,
Right.
Gave him a high five.
Gave him 5. That's right.
Gave him a high five going to the field. And, get out early, support your Mountaineers, and let's start this season off with a win. We're going to take another quick break real quick for our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home,
Welcome back. We have a new segment this year we're going to start called Ask the Coach. So if you have any questions to the coach coming up in future segments, you can submit them to Mr. Fulton or to Craig Short or somebody, and we will get those. So we got a couple this week. So Coach, these are some questions that some different people, I've asked people around town if they could ask you something, what would be? And the first one is, what do you see as the difference between North Carolina and South Carolina football?
Yeah, there's when you get on the field and you get in between the lines, there's not much of a difference at all. You know, so far from what I can tell, it's football is football, and it's in South Carolina. You're going to, I relate it to the teams that you're going to see. There's teams down there that run the wing tee. We don't see a lot of flex bone like South Point, but we've seen it before. And so football, between the two states are about the same. Where I see the difference is, and I'm not saying this to advocate or anything. I don't want Dr. Fisher to get on me or nothing, but the the pay and the amount of coaches that a team has is a lot different. You know, when I was in South Carolina at South Point, I had 22 coaches on staff. Now we had 3 teams, but we had 22 coaches, 22 paid coaches on staff. And you know, here you get 10 supplements, including the head coach. So that would be the major difference. And also in South Carolina, there was more of a push to get as many of your coaches teaching that were teachers in school, and it seemed like there was more of an opportunity for that, where here you get a lot of guys that are community guys that come out and coach. So those would be the big differences, but when it comes to X's and O's and on the field, there's not much difference at all.
Question number 2. What do you see as the identity of your team early on?
Yeah, that's a good question, but it's hard to completely answer. The identity right now is I guess kind of a shock. You know, these guys are they're still trying to get used to everything that we're doing. You know, having a segment timer at practice. You know, we got 5-minute segments, and when that segment is over, man, we're moving to another drill, and that's just a little bit different than what a lot of kids are used to. But the identity that we have is that we've got a lot of seniors type guys that have been through the program, even under Coach Lloyd, and they know the whole feel of Kings Mountain football. And so the identity is staying the same. We're just trying to, as you were saying, my coaching style is probably a little different than Coach Lloyd's coaching style, and we're trying to get them to follow along with what I do, and hope that it can push them to another level. And so the identity is hopefully going to be a high character team that plays extremely hard and gets after the opponent with class and character. That's the plan for the identity. However, you know, we've started a leadership class. We started today, and I'm hoping to see big changes. You know, the kids really took to what we talked about today. I believe the session today was called the Glue Guy. And we want more glue guys, and so now they know what that means, and we're going to build on that. The whole leadership program comes out of a book called Above the Line. It's about Ohio State football when they won the first national championship in the playoff era, and just we have units now and unit leaders, and we had meetings today, and I was with the defensive line, and it was incredible. I mean, it was just incredible. Those guys sat there together and talked about things and how they're going to change the team, how they're going to make it better, and that's the kind of stuff that we will hope to see in 6-7 weeks from now really take effect and play out the end of the season.
Sounds great. All right, here comes the question of the week. This is the barbershop question, right? This is the question that for the past week or so has been on everybody. So all you guys at the barbershop, here I go. Tony, Kevin, all you guys, I'm asking your question for you. All right, Coach, who's your quarterback going to be week 1?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll have to call Coach Bolton, see what Coach Bolton says. We've got 3 guys that are really battling it out, trying to get better, and you know, you look at it and go, well, 2 of them have come in and they got here a little later, and so forth and so on, and then one of them's a senior, one of them's a junior, one of them's a sophomore, and it's really. I told Coach Bolton, you know, so far from what we've seen. You know, one guy he'll play great at one point, and then the next day he'll struggle hard, and one of the other ones will step up. It's almost like you're playing Russian roulette. You pick one, and you hope that's the one that's having a good day. So right now, you know, I'm not going to go on record of saying who's going to be the quarterback, but I will say that you know, I think Zolo has done a good job leading the offense. He commands the offense very well, and I think the guys are behind him. Not to say that they're not behind the others, but I think he's done a good job. But I can tell you this: all three of them, they as they're standing on the sideline Friday night, they better have their chin straps snapped, because we could pull either one of them. All three of them has got a chance to go and try to make it happen for us. But it's been tough. It really has been tough. But I'm gonna let Coach Bolton make that decision, and I'll back what he decides.
Listen, I would hate to be preparing for you guys this week.
Yeah, really, really.
You know, because you watch and it's three different guys with different personalities, different
Yes.
strengths, and
Yeah.
go ahead and prepare for this one, and then what happens when
It's another one. That's right.
yeah,
That's right.
Good luck. Well, Coach, listen, anything you'd like to add? Because these guys just want to hear any story you can tell.
Well, that's bad, because I'm not a very good storyteller. You need Coach Carroll for that. That guy, he can tell some stories. But all I know, I'm just real excited about being here. I've never seen the support that a football team can have from a community, and I'm delighted to be here. I know that there's high expectations, and if there weren't high expectations, I wouldn't be here. But I just hope everybody keeps in perspective. These are high school kids. They're going out and playing a game, and that's what I tell our players. Man, you play this game for fun. You play any game for fun. That's what it's for, and we're going to grow with it and keep working every week. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. We have a job to do, and talking about that, I just want to throw out a shout out to our coaching staff. Even that they're not used to what we're doing. This weekend we didn't have very much video, but they put in about 4 hours on Sunday with a full game, 2 halves of football video, and as the year goes on and we get to that point where we have 3 games to watch, our weekend work will expand, but they're eager. They want to learn to do it and do it the way that we've done it, where we've come from before, and I'm excited about it, and I'm excited for them, and we just got to go do our job.
Well, I can tell you, the people in Kings Mountain are really excited about. Go downtown. People are talking about the football game coming up.
Right.
Talking about the changes. I said, go to the barbershop. That's what they're going to talk about.
Right.
Go to eat somewhere. Somebody's got on a Kings Mountain Touchdown Club hat or a Kings Mountain football shirt or something, and they're just chomping at the bit to get out here. And
I feel it, believe me.
and one thing I remind all the fans, I'm excited personally to see the difference in game 1 and game 4.
Right.
I said, you can always tell, it's almost like, especially with, when a new scheme or new thing.
Yes.
That first game, they look good. But that second game, okay, now by that third or fourth game, when you start to hit that stride, that's when it really gets fun. So if you think Friday night's going to be fun, wait until week 5 when we start conference games.
Yeah.
That's when the engine should be rolling down the track.
We hope so. We hope so. Yes.
Well, Coach, listen, thank you so much for coming to visit with us tonight. Best of luck to you this week.
Yes, sir.
You have our complete and utter support, and we are looking forward not to a great Friday night, but a great season, and hopefully a memorable season, and I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Coach.
Thank you.
I appreciate everything.
Yes, sir, man.
We'll be back for our final segment in just a few minutes as we say goodbye to Coach Heron here. He's got a few things he might need to go to work on before Friday's game. We'll be right back for this final word from our sponsors.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home, Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home,
And welcome back. We're in our final segment here on our Mountaineer football show. Want to give you a quick reminder about this coming Friday. If you're coming to the game, we do have a new parking map. Sorry, I could not get that out for some reason. We've got it up on the screen here if you'll look at it. So if you're coming in, if you're a parking pass holder, handicap, you will enter by the middle school or the intermediate school. So you're going to come in, don't come in the light right there off of Fife Road in front of the high school. Go down to the middle school. The road that comes in between the middle school and the intermediate school, you'll come in that way. All the others will enter off of Fife Road, but the road between the parking lots will be closed. So take a look at this map. Make sure you see where you're entering here. Okay? Take a big look at the red X there. That road will be closed. So just the gate, it will be closed at 6:30. I was just told. So from 6:30 on, the gates open at 6. Is that correct? I think they open the gates at 6 o'clock. So they will close it. Drop off will be in front of the school. Okay, so if you want to drop off somebody, it'll be in front of the school, and you will come in that way. All right. Once again, we want to give you the schedule for upcoming games this week. We want to support all of our Kings Mountain High School athletics. Going on currently, we have a home soccer game against East Gaston right now. I wish I could tell you the score, but I cannot see it where we are. Tomorrow night, our JV football team will be at Shelby. Kickoff is going to be at 7 o'clock. Go out there, support those upcoming Mountaineers. These are our future of the program. A lot of those guys you'll see playing up some this year. Go out there and take a look at the future. Friday, August 18th, varsity football home opener at versus Shelby. Kickoff will be at 7:30. Monday, August 21st, men's soccer will be at Chase. Their kickoff time will be 6 p.m. And Tuesday, August 27th, volleyball will be at West Henderson. That will start JV at 4:30 on that. So volleyball at West Henderson, 4:30 on Tuesday the 22nd. Also on the 22nd, cross country will be home for their 2-mile scrimmage. So if you want to watch the cross country, they will start. That will be here, the 2-mile scrimmage. That's it for this week. Once again, my name is Brad Mountain. Craig Short will be back here next week with you. I appreciate you spending some time with us. Once again, thank you to Coach Straight Heron for joining us. Great guy. Come support the Mountaineers this weekend. Friday night's going to be a big one. Get here early, cheer hard, cheer for your Mountaineers. Let's pull them on to victory. Thank you, guys. See you later.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, John Gamble and Carolina Golf, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home,